Hello everybody, Julio Penagos with Solved, and I'm going to show you 10 fun ways to use Google Jamboard for math instruction. Before we keep going, let's remember that there are 3 ways in which you could share this work with your student. You can number 1, display it. You can number 2, share with all students, where all students will have access to the same board and edit the same board like as a collaboration. And number 3, you could share a copy with each student, where each student will get their own copy and they'll be able to work individually on each one without seeing each other's work. Number 1, number talks. Number talks involves teachers asking students a question, students answering the question mentally, and then students sharing the responses as the teacher records the response and their ideas visually in an organized manner so that students could have discussion and questioning about the numbers and the specific content. Number 2, which one does not belong? This one is pretty self-explanatory, but the beauty of it is that it asks students to answer open-ended questions, and it gives entry to the question and to the thinking to students that usually don't participate because there's really no right answer. Which one does not belong could be used with numbers, it could be used with pictures, but it also could be used with objects or geometrical shapes. Number 3, math stories. Math stories is a great way for you to engage your students in problem solving. It involves you taking something that happens in your everyday life, making it a story, creating a problem within the story, and having the students help you solve that problem. For example, yesterday I was making pizzas. I baked 2 pizzas. I cut pizza number 1 in 4 equal parts, and I cut pizza number 2 and I gave it to my neighbor in 6 equal parts. Which of the pizzas have bigger slices? I wanted to know that. These are pictures that I took of my own pizza, and then I will share this with my students, and I will make a copy for each student, and I will have the students show their own work and maybe then assess how they did. Number 4, skills practice. A lot of times we want to have a space for students just to practice skills and to put our handouts on it. So what you could do is you could take a screenshot of your handout, add them to the Jamboard with the add image icon, and then you could create here things for students to do homework or for students to engage with your handouts, and then make a copy for each student so that they could give you the answers and you could assess how they're doing with skills. It could also work with higher level math, with equations or graphs or functions or anything that comes to your mind when it comes to handouts. Number 5, data talks. Data talks, very similar to number talks, is about giving students a graph or a visual of some data or some statistic and asking them what they notice and what they wonder. And it's a great way to engage students in discussion, in questioning, and to give them students a place where they could be free to analyze a graph and then give firm foundations for what it is that you're doing later in the unit or give it at the end of the unit. It could be done with simple graphs, but it could also be done with higher level graphs. In the description, I am provided a link with a compilation of graphs created by the New York Times, which can aid you in making data talks during instruction. Number 6, answer with an image. Give students a prompt and have them answer with an image. So what you could do is you could give students a question which find an image to represent slope, make this a collaborative slide where all students will have access to the slide and be able to post pictures, and then they could do and post the pictures that make sense to them, and then you could have discussions about similarities, differences, and everything that comes to your mind when it comes to discussing slope. It could also be done with things like fractions. Number 7, error analysis. A great way to engage your students in higher level thinking is have them identify errors in processes. So one way which you could do is on Jamboard is to post pictures of errors that you have made or that students have made and have them analyze it and correct the situation themselves. They could use the markers to identify the errors and to point them out to you. Number 8, daily fluency. Fluency is very important for understanding mathematics, and every teacher should practice it. And one way to do it is to use Jamboard to do it. And you could take your screenshots, or you could have conversations and discussion with your students about different fluency. It doesn't only have to be the number of the day. It could be about functions, polynomial graphs, ratios, or anything that comes to your mind depending on your unit. Number 9, matching. I'm going to let this one speak for itself. Number 10, engage your students in the art of asking questions. Instead of asking the students to answer a question, you will ask them to pose questions that you could later answer in the unit together, or you could answer even within the lesson together. This could be done as a display, having a discussion with students, or you could have a collaborative slide where students are asking questions and posting them on the Jamboard. We get to the end of this video, and if you think you liked it or if you have anything to share, please share it in the comments. If you like it, please share it, subscribe to the channel, and give it a like. Thank you very much for watching.